विपक्ष रोज पार्लियामेंट को चलने नहीं दे रहे। हम चाहते हैं कि इस पे डिस्कशन हो, लेकिन विपक्ष का रवैया आपने देखा, वो फिर एक बार इस पूरी चर्चा को नहीं होने देना चाहते हैं।
Government turns tables on opposition on Manipur. As opposition demands PM to speak on Manipur.
मोदी सरकार राजनीतिक बेईमानी से ग्रस्त है। मोदी सरकार मणिपुर से प्रतिशोध ले रही है, बदला ले रही है।
Government accuses opposition of running away.
पॉलिटिक्स ही पॉलिटिक्स, मणिपुर के ऊपर पॉलिटिक्स करने वाले बेरहम यूपीए के मैं आज अपील कर रही हूं कि सचमुच मणिपुर गए और आकर इधर बात रखने के लिए मौका जब मिल रही है, आप क्यों उसको उठाना नहीं चाहते?
No debate on Manipur yet. Who is to blame for Parliament logjam? Parliament monsoon storm. Top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nandagopal. This Monday evening, we're going to be rounding up all that's played out in Parliament. Day 8 of the monsoon session and the stalemate over Manipur continues. Today, you had an effort by the government once again to kick off a discussion, a debate on Manipur. There was stonewalled by the opposition. Their demand being very clear. They're saying only the Prime Minister must speak on this issue. We'll get you the latest reactions and much more. A look at the headlines first. Big statement by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath says calling Gyanvapi a mosque-related dispute considering Trishuls and Jyotirlings were found in the complex.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा। मुझे लगता है कि भगवान ने जिसको दृष्टि दी है वो देखे ना, त्रिशूल मस्जिद के अंदर क्या कर रहा है।
Manipur hearing in top court to continue tomorrow. Supreme Court asks Manipur government and centre government to give detailed status report on violence cases. Centre says no objection to SC monitored probe. Delhi ordinance bill to be tabled by Union Home Minister Amit Shah in Parliament tomorrow. Lok Sabha panel to also discuss no confidence motion debate. Deadly firing inside Mumbai train kills 4 passengers. Railway cop accused of carrying out attack arrested. Maha terror plot busted. Days after doctor's arrest in Pune, 4th terror accused held in Ratnagiri. ATS recovers drones, bomb-making equipment from homes of accused. And big setback for RJD Supremo Lalu Yadav. Enforcement Directorate seizes assets worth 6 crore rupees linked to Lalu Yadav and kin in the land for job scam. So let's tell you exactly what played out in Parliament today. You had the government now pushing back at the opposition, raising a number of issues, saying that we asked for a short-term discussion for a debate in Parliament. They slotted the time as 2 p.m. in Rajya Sabha. But what we saw at 2 p.m. was non-stop protest by the opposition, who said that they're not open to a short-term debate. They want the Prime Minister to speak. And this has prompted the government now to go aggressively against the opposition, saying that they're the ones who are stalling a detailed discussion on Manipur for the last 8 days.
Manipur engulfing the monsoon session. The opposition India alliance demanding the Prime Minister make a statement in the House on the 3-month crisis in the northeastern state.
Nishikant Dubey, question number 142.
They are trying to misuse. They are trying to misuse the liberty given to all the honourable members. When the government is ready to discuss Manipur, when the government has already acceded to the sense of the House that there should be a discussion on Manipur, they have already spoiled, sir, 9 days, 9 important days of the House.
Honourable members,
When on this issue, the government is agreeable for a discussion at 2 p.m.
The opposition unsatisfied with this short duration discussion alone.
अगर एक बार कोई मणिपुर पहुंच जाएंगे ना सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी के नेतागण तो यहाँ आके इस तरीके की हेजुअल बयानबाजी करने में उनको दिल नहीं लगेगा। अगर उनके अंदर मानवता रहे तो मणिपुर की हालत संगीन है।
लगता है कि सरकार अगर अभी भी प्रोएक्टिव ना हो, प्रधानमंत्री जी सदन में आकर के संदेश ना दें, हो क्या है, मणिपुर के लोग अपनी सामूहिक पीड़ा को जल्दी भूलेंगे नहीं।
Last week, the opposition brought in a no-trust motion as part of its demand to seek the Prime Minister's statement on Manipur on the floor of the House.
सदन में हम चर्चा करने के लिए जब तैयार है, जब सदन चल रहा है, तो बाहर जाके ऐसे स्टेटमेंट तो देख क्या है ना, जो बोलना है सदन में बोलने दो, जो उसको उस विषय पर जो उत्तर देना है, रिप्लाई देना है, चर्चा करना है, वो सब के लिए सरकार तैयार है। ये बार बार हम इन लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, अपील कर रहे हैं।
विपक्ष की जिम्मेदारी होती है कि मसला शांतिपूर्ण समाधान की ओर बढ़े, और ऐसे मसले पे भी वो राजनीति कर रहे हैं। ऐसे मसले पे तो राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए। राजनीति के बहुत अवसर हैं जी, और आप चर्चा के लिए हम तैयार हैं।
The House is adjourned to meet at 3:30 p.m. today.
Repeating uproar ignored the chair's appeals for silence. Congress accused the ruling BJP of ducking the demand for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement in Parliament on Manipur.
The leader of the House says he is ready to discuss and deliberate right now.
The opposition chants for the Prime Minister's presence in the Rajya Sabha on Monday, insistent on his statement, followed by Parliament discussing Manipur in detail.
Why can't the Prime Minister come? We are all ready to discuss Manipur. Manipur is the issue. Our delegation went. We want to discuss Manipur. We want to discuss Manipur under the emergency rule, not one under toast and butter rule of 176. वो नहीं होता है 1.5 घंटा 2 घंटा का discussion. वो toast and butter rule है. We want a full meal discussion on Manipur.
The call for the Prime Minister's statement remains, while Manipur's plight awaits sustainable resolution. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, secondly.
Let's get your breaking news that's coming in right now. The opposition is upping the ante against the government, all set to take this fight now to the president. News break coming in right now that the Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge has decided to take the fight right now to the President of India. Mallikarjun Kharge will lead the India Alliance floor leaders, that's a 21 MP delegation, to meet with President Murmu. He sought an appointment for a meeting to essentially raise the issue of Manipur. When exactly that meeting will happen, we don't really know yet. But let me bring in Paulami Saha on this, who's been tracking what's been playing out in Parliament closely. Paulami, good evening. Let's put the focus first on this news break that's just come in. The opposition unrelenting clearly. As far as Parliament is concerned, they're saying the Prime Minister must speak. They're now going to be taking this issue to the President, and that comes days after several of them went to Manipur.
That's right. The delegation, of course, met with the floor leaders in Parliament earlier this morning, where they briefed them about their findings and their assessment of the ground situation in Manipur after their two-day visit over the weekend to Manipur and to specifically violence-struck areas of the state of Manipur. And now, after that, of course, because they are unrelenting as far as the discussion in Parliament is concerned, they want it under Rule 267, a discussion which suspends basically all other business and allots more time than what is allotted under a short duration discussion for Manipur, and also demanding a statement from the Prime Minister on the floor of the House as far as Manipur is concerned. While they, of course, keep up that pressure inside Parliament, outside Parliament, of course, they are approaching the President now. It remains to be seen when that time is given to this delegation, but they're approaching the President to, of course, present a report to her as well as to what the 21 members of Parliament from the India Alliance partners who visited Manipur over the weekend found.
All right, Paulami is getting us all of those details. I'll request you to stay on with me, Paulami. We'll need your inputs in just a few moments from now as well. But let's focus on what's been the impact of all of this pandemonium and din in Parliament for the last 8 days. Have we seen any business at all in Parliament? We've done the number crunching. The last 8 days, we've analysed how much business was actually conducted in the House. And here's the numbers that we've really found at this point. We've got, in fact, on bills tabled, 12 of them. But there's been barely any discussion on this. Largely with these bills being tabled is because the BJP has those numbers in the Lok Sabha. Now, if you look at question hour itself, how much time has been spent on these questions and answering them? At Lok Sabha, it's less than 1 hour of the last 8 days. So it's been barely a few minutes every single day. That sums up to less than 1 hour. In Rajya Sabha, it's about 1.5. Abysmal to say the least, because I'm talking about 8 days of business, and those are the numbers on your screens. What about legislations? Well, amid all of the protests that we've been witnessing right now, because of that legislation too, Lok Sabha has dedicated just about 3.6 hours. Rajya Sabha 6.4 hours, slightly better there than the lower house. Non-legislative matters, the Lok Sabha 0.2 hours. That's all has been spent. And the Rajya Sabha at 0.7. And other businesses, 1.5 hours was spent in the Lok Sabha, 3.5 hours in the Rajya Sabha. You bring this all together, just about covers 10 hours. 10 hours of 8 days that's been spent on meaningful business. The rest of it completely washed away by all of the ruckus, pandemonium and the protests that we've been witnessing in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Let's focus on the legal fight that's playing out over Manipur. A number of petitions that came up for hearing today, particularly that of the gang rape survivors. Their petition was put up in the Supreme Court. And let me get you some of the highlights of what played out, because the CJI-led bench sought a status report from the central government, and that hearing will continue tomorrow. But highlights of today is essentially that the Supreme Court, while hearing the case, pulled up the centre, pulled up the state, questioning why there was a delay in filing an FIR in the gang rape case, in that horrifying video. In a sharp remark against those likening Manipur violence with gender crimes in other states like Bengal, the Supreme Court made it clear that the comparison, quite simply, cannot be made. Kapil Sibal, who represented survivors in the top court, expressed lack of trust in CBI and demanded an SIT investigation. The central government's lawyer, the Solicitor General, said that the government can stop the CBI probe if the top court wanted to go ahead and order a probe that was monitored by the Supreme Court. Tomorrow, you can expect that hearing to continue, but several key highlights that emerged from that hearing in the top court today.
Today, the issue was confined, especially in relation to that viral video. But the Honorable Chief Justice made it very clear at the onset of the hearing that the issue may be of that, but the Supreme Court is looking at the broader picture as to how to tackle the issue of the violence against women so far as the Manipur conflict is concerned, and said that whatever mechanism is adopted by the Supreme Court will be applicable for the whole of the state of Manipur, irrespective of communities, irrespective of victim belonging to one community or the other. It would be irrespective of community.
Let me bring in Anisha Mathur, our legal correspondent, on this broadcast. Anisha, good evening. Can you sum up for us and for our viewers essentially what the big takeaways were from the Supreme Court's hearing today?
Well, first of all, what the Supreme Court has made clear is that their focus is on ensuring justice and ensuring that the faith that people seem to have lost in the system, in the police, in the government, some steps are taken to restore faith, restore peace. What is also interesting is that the court has made it very clear that this viral video may have been the trigger, but the question is of the larger issue in Manipur. They want to know what kind of FIRs have been filed, how many FIRs has been filed, what is the government doing with regard to actual investigation in all of these crimes. In fact, a very pointed question being asked by the Supreme Court that to the government that yes, you have decided to transfer this particular case to the CBI, but what about the hundreds of other cases? There are about 6,000 FIRs in total over
over the last 3 months in Manipur, the court has asked the government to explain what kind of FIRs, what kind of offences, what action has been taken, and what kind of relief and rehabilitation measures are being put in place. The court has also said that this is not an isolated incident, but a systemic issue that has happened in Manipur, because there are multiple allegations of police personnel either abandoning their duty, leaving the women or other persons to the mercy of the mob, or even in several cases that have been cited by the petitioners and even reported in the media, that police personnel may have been not only corroborating but colluding as well as participating in the mob violence. So the Supreme Court has very clearly asked these questions of why there has been a delay in the FIRs, what is actually being done, and if the CBI is prepared to take over all of the questions of assaults against women in Manipur. Okay. Apart from that, the Supreme Court has also asked the government to take what kind of steps are being taken regarding relief and rehabilitation, and the hearing now will be around 2 p.m. tomorrow.
All right, we'll track the latest that comes in tomorrow as well. Thanks very much, Anisha, for joining us with all of those highlights from the Supreme Court hearing today. We're not taking our focus away from what's happening on the ground as well in Manipur. After having told you what's happened politically, legally, let's tell you the situation on the ground. My colleague Ashutosh Mishra has been there for the last many weeks. He tells us that things are definitely calming down, but there are hints that show you that people, locals, are still very, very scared that there could be a surge once again of protests, of clashes.
When violence triggered in the bordering areas of Manipur, it wasn't only confined in certain territories near the foothill and the valleys, but there was also tension flared up even in the capital Imphal, and that resulted that many people from different communities marked their building. That there was no, remember, the valley is dominated by the Meitei community. Now here, since you have the Mering and Naga people community living here, they mark these houses that there are no cookies living here, but rather it is the houses belongs to Naga and the Meitei communities. Now Naga so far in the conflict have maintained a neutral stand, rather taking sides be it the Meitei community or the cookies community. But what interestingly, in the capital, while visiting certain area, when the tension was flaring up, what we are seeing still, these posters were put out at these houses that this is a Meitei building, and on rent who all are living here? They are the Meitei community living here. There are 3 Nepalese families living here. There are Marwadis and Biharis. So people from Marwar, Bihar, Nepal, and of course the Meitei people who have been living here. So this was to ensure there is no repercussion of the violence, and all the Meitei people mark their buildings. Of course, there was a courtyard of certain areas which was burned as it was believed to be belonging to some Kuki family. That was a small scale of violence. But ever since across the state in the valley and foothill area, the tension prevails. This area remains calm as it is being guarded, protected. Moreover, it is also the duty of the local MLA who also ensured peace in this region. But all I see this explains last 3 months of the situation, even in the capital Imphal.
And yes, another important news break coming in on the BJP strategy of countering the India alliance. Since the name has in fact been released and announced by the opposition, there's been non-stop controversy, and now the BJP has announced that they will not be referring to the opposition as the India alliance. They're going to stick to the UPA alliance, what they were referred to earlier. They're saying the BJP is referring and saying that they will stick to UPA and not say India. Himanshu Mishra is joining us with more details on this. Himanshu, ये जो डिसीजन है बीजेपी का काफी कंट्रोवर्शियल है, क्योंकि आपकी जो ऑपोजिशन है सब बोल रहे हैं कि हम इंडिया अलायंस है।
देखिए, बिल्कुल इसीलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से ये स्ट्रेटेजी बनाई गई है कि इंडिया अलायंस की जगह यूपीए को टारगेट किया जाए, और जो यूपीए के करप्शन के केसेस हैं, स्कैम्स हैं, उनको लेकर टारगेट किया जाए, कांग्रेस को लेकर टारगेट किया जाए कि ये सब एक ही है, यानी ये यूपीए है, नाम बदल दिया है। तो इसीलिए यूपीए के ऊपर ज्यादा फोकस रहेगा, उनके करप्शन केसेस पे फोकस रहेगा। अब आगे जो बीजेपी की स्ट्रेटेजी है वो ये है कि इंडिया नाम या इंडिया अपोजिशन पार्टीज को जो इंडिया अलायंस के नाम से वो एड्रेस कर रहे थे, वो अब नहीं करेगी बीजेपी, उसको यूपीए और कांग्रेस और करप्शन से जोड़कर ही दिखाएगी कि ये करप्ट पार्टीज हैं और ये यूपीए के ही घटक दल हैं।
Okay, Himanshu, thank you for joining us with that news break. Himanshu getting us details of the BJP's strategy to counter the India alliance. Let's get to breaking news coming in. The much-awaited Delhi Ordinance Bill could just be introduced in the Lok Sabha tomorrow. Sources telling us here on India Today that in all likelihood the government will bring it in tomorrow in the Lok Sabha. It's going to be Home Minister Amit Shah who will introduce the bill, after which there will be discussions. The government has said also another crucial point, which is that the Manipur discussion will continue in the Rajya Sabha. Remember, today it started off at 2 p.m. It was endless disruption, so there wasn't really a discussion or a debate in that sense. But the government says that we will try and attempt to continue that conversation tomorrow on Manipur. The other big headline, the no confidence motion, what will happen to that? It will be decided tomorrow as to exactly when the debate on the no trust motion will kick off. Paulami Saha is joining us with more details on this. So, Paulami, the much talked about Delhi Ordinance Bill in all likelihood could be tabled tomorrow. Let's just focus on that alone, off that news break. The numbers where they stand right now, while the AAP has been trying to ensure that they get all the support on their side, still are woefully short.
That's right. The challenge, Akshita, of course, as far as this bill is concerned, will be in the Rajya Sabha. As we know, in the lower house of parliament, the BJP has brute majority. It has all the numbers it needs in order to, of course, see the passage of this bill. But in the Rajya Sabha, of course, the challenge will be for the Bharatiya Janata Party to ensure that the NDA's numbers are sufficient, along with, of course, friendly parties, hoping that the YSR CP and its 9 MPs and the BJD and its 9 MPs also, in fact, support the ordinance. The bill, of course, which replaces the ordinance in the upper house of parliament. And those are the back channel conversations that, of course, the government has been having with friendly parties like the YSRCP and the BJD. Remember, the BJD has not made it very clear as of yet, has not come on record as to where they stand as far as the Delhi Services Bill is concerned. So that is, of course, going to be a big focus as far as their voting pattern during, of course, the discussion during the bill. Voting on the bill is concerned. Meanwhile, the opposition, of course, is also trying to muster together all its numbers, ensuring that there is full strength in the House, even if they, of course, are not able to stall the passage of the bill in the upper house of parliament. They want to send out a message. So they, of course, will hope that Dr. Manmohan Singh, who hasn't been attending parliament sessions because of ill health, he comes in during the voting. Shibu Soren comes in for the voting as well. Vashish Narayan Singh of the JDU, who is also ailing, is likely to come in on an ambulance to simply cast his vote during this very crucial bill and when it's taken up. So it's going to be fireworks in the Rajya Sabha specifically. Of course, expected to be very stormy when the government introduces the bill tomorrow in Lok Sabha.
We'll see how that plays out. Thanks for the moment, Paulami, for joining us with all of those details. Let's get you the shocking news story that came in this morning of an RPF constable who opened fire inside a moving train. 4 people died, including his senior who was inside the train, inside the coach, along with 3 other civilians. Why exactly did he go on the shooting spree? What happened? Who are the victims? Let's get you all those details in our report.
They were a team on duty barely 24 hours ago. But in a horrific turn of events, one is dead and his subordinate, the killer. At 5:30 a.m. in B5 coach of Jaipur MMCT Express 12956, RPF Constable Chetan allegedly opened fire at his escort in charge, Tikaram, an assistant sub-inspector in Railway Protection Force. Chetan also shot dead 3 other civilians travelling in the Jaipur Express. Prelim probe states that the accused, Chetan, complained of mental harassment and was upset with ASI Tikaram.
Total 4 are dead. उसको मीरा रोड स्टेशन पे उसको डिटेन कर लिया गया।
सर, इसने ऐसा क्यों किया?
ऑटोमेटिक वेपन है, उसको वेपन भी रिकवर किया है। फिलहाल कोई खतरे की बात नहीं है, उसको पकड़ा गया।
सर, इसने ऐसा क्यों किया? इसके पीछे कुछ वजह?
इसकी मानसिक अवस्था ठीक नहीं थी, प्रिलिमिनरी यही इंफॉर्मेशन मिली है।
ओके,
मेंटली डिस्टर्ब था, इस टाइप का इंफॉर्मेशन प्रिलिमिनरी उपलब्ध हुआ है।
Misfired bullet marks were seen on the door of the coach, where the horror unfolded. According to sources, RPF Constable Chetan started to fire on his senior Tika Ram as the train passed from Palghat railway station. 3 other passengers were also hit. He used a modified version of AK-47 AKM assault rifle for the crime and fired at least 12 rounds. Chetan then tried to pull the chain to escape near the Hisar station. Train stopped at Mira Road station where he was immediately taken into custody by Mumbai police. By the time the train reached Borivali, 4 dead bodies were retrieved by GRP and RPF. Post-mortem will be done to ascertain further details of the incident.
ये अभी इसके सब अनकन्फर्म रिपोर्ट्स हैं। अभी इसके बारे में एग्जैक्टली जानकारी प्राप्त करके ही कंफर्म किया जाएगा। मानसिक रिपोर्ट मानसिक वाली ऐसी कोई बात अभी नहीं।
A journey to safeguard passengers ended in a terrible tragedy of quadruple murders, leaving many questions unanswered. With Deepesh Tripathi and Divyesh Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And even as we've gotten you all the details of exactly what played out in that Mumbai-Jaipur train, let's get you political reactions. You've got AIMIM's Asaduddin Owaisi claiming that this is a terror attack on Muslims. Now, the train firing, according to Owaisi, is an attack on Muslims and a result of anti-Muslim hate speech. Owaisi is now waded into this controversy. You have a similar reaction coming in from the Congress's B.V. Srinivasa as well, the Youth Congress chief, who's also said that this is the result of hate being spread. Owaisi has said, and I quote, "This is a terror attack that specifically targeted Muslims. It's the product of continuous anti-Muslim hate speech and the unwillingness of the Modi government to put an end to it. Will the accused RPF Jawan become a future BJP candidate? Happy to be proven wrong." This is the comment that's come in from Asaduddin Owaisi. Mustafa is joining us with more details on this. Mustafa, even as details are still emerging on the investigation, you've got Asaduddin Owaisi here saying that this was a terror attack against Muslims. What have officials said so far? Because they seem to suggest that the victim was mentally unstable. What can you tell us really? Why is Owaisi given this kind of an angle to the entire case?
A video which has surfaced after shooting of this accused is where he is seen making political and anti-Muslim comments. That video has been tweeted by Asaduddin Owaisi and said that this is a terrorist act. The police as of now are saying that they're only in the primary stage of investigations, but they are saying that this accused, this particular RPF official, was not sound-minded, and in that he has done this act. So the details are still emerging because it's not only passengers who have been suffered, but an assistant sub-inspector who was on duty with this particular accused. This accused also shot him 3 times, and he's also died in this incident. So details are still emerging. It is a terrible and unfortunate incident, but yes, there are some political comments being made in it, while the police and the railway authorities says that they are investigating this entire case and trying to find out why Chetan Singh did what he did. Back to you.
Mustafa, thank you for getting us all of those details. It is over this video that's doing the rounds on social media that Asaduddin Owaisi has in fact said that this is a terror attack against Muslims and the result of anti-Muslim hate speech. Sticking to news from Maharashtra, in the last few days, the NIA, the anti-terror squad, have been extremely busy busting one terror module after another. In our next report, we tell you about 2 such modules that have been busted. One by the NIA, in which a Pune-based doctor has been taken into custody for having links to the ISIS. The second by the ATS, in which 4 people have been taken into custody for reportedly planning a hit on the Chabad house, the same location that was targeted during 26/11.
A renowned doctor turned terrorist. A deadly terror plot has been busted in Maharashtra, and the details that have emerged have made it clear that the radicalization threat is very, very real. 43-year-old Dr. Adnan Ali Sarkar, a Pune-based doctor, was arrested days ago by the National Investigation Agency. Sarkar had been called for questioning after the agency received leads that he was linked to the ISIS. The doctor refused to cooperate with the investigation and was promptly taken into custody.
NIA having some kind of proofs, some kind of scientific evidences that they have gathered from his laptop, from his computer, and on that basis NIA is confident that Dr. Sarkar was involved in anti-national activities, was involved in helping Maharashtra IS module against India.
The terror-accused doctor's colleagues are in shock, saying they had no idea of the allegedly nefarious activities he was engaged in.
फरवरी 2016 से वो अभी तक काम कर रहे थे। हमें भी ये न्यूज़ उस दिन रात को पता चली, तब तक हमें कुछ पता नहीं था। इट वाज अ शॉकिंग फॉर अस एंड कल हमने इमीडिएटली इनके सर्विसेज डिसकंटिन्यू किया है।
Dr. Sarkar is the fifth person to be arrested in the ISIS module case. The NIA had earlier arrested 4 people in the case during simultaneous raids in Mumbai, Thane and Pune on the 3rd of July. Even as the agencies investigate this ISIS module case, another parallel terror probe is underway, linked again to Pune. The Maharashtra Anti-Terror Squad has now busted a terror plot, and on target was the famous Kabad House in Mumbai. That's right, the same venue that was attacked during the 26/11 attacks.
Security is beefed up by Mumbai police after the Maharashtra ATS given a tip-off to the Mumbai police that 2 accused was arrested by ATS in Pune, and from there the Pune ATS has recovered a picture of this Chabad house, after which they alerted the Mumbai police, and Mumbai police beefed up the security of this Chabad house.
4 accused have been arrested so far. 3 from Pune, including a dreaded terrorist Shahnawaz Alam, who was on the NIA's wanted list. The 4th accused has been arrested from Ratnagiri for funding the accused terror suspects. The terror plots, both with the intention of spilling blood on the streets of India, both linked to ISIS. With Pankaj Khelkar in Pune, Bureau Report, India Today.
And that's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks for tuning in.